talk about my blog that's on my personal website, lorrainegleeson.com, and I'm about to bring it up because this month I have blogged about mental health and well-being. One of the things that's on the news a lot is mental health and well-being. What I noticed is they keep talking about exercise. You must get out and do your one day bit of exercise. Mental health is much, much more than exercise and to help with your well-being. It's also positive thinking, which is not so easy when we keep being put into lockdown. I'll be honest, I've been down that rabbit hole. I have bad days. I have days when I get up and I think, oh my goodness, what's going on now? Haven't turned my phone off, how unprofessional. So I thought I'm going to blog about it because there isn't enough about us keeping ourselves well, psychologically as well as physically. Exercise is paramount. When you get out, mind you, looking at the weather today, it's pretty grey and pretty windy and not very pleasant. But when you've been out and you have exercised, and yes, by the way, I've been out and exercised this morning, it does help you to feel better. But the way you think and the way you feel also is so important. And of course, your diet, need to eat healthily. So I sat down and I decided I was going to write a blog about it because I keep hearing these stories of people that aren't getting treatment, they're not getting diagnosed because the NHS is overrun with COVID, and it just seems that all the other things are going by the by. And then you have all these positive posts on Facebook, and there was one that, this is what initiated it, there was one that went up on Facebook, and this lady was writing about, because the schools got closed again, and she wrote, well, you can take this as an opportunity of 13 weeks to spend time with your children, and you can teach them to cook, you can teach them all to read a book, you can teach them all these wonderful things. And it was such a positive, upbeat post. The thing is with me, I might be right or I might be wrong, but when I read things like that, I will put myself in those shoes and think, how would it have been for me? Well, when my children were young, and I've got two very different children, all of you that got more than one, they are very, very different characters, their learning abilities and their learning style. My daughter's very audio, so she can listen. She says to me she can multitask. It really makes me laugh. I saw her this morning and she's doing these emails, and I said, well, this is charming. I've come round to visit my daughter and you sat there. I can multitask, Mum. And actually, she can, because she's an audio learner. My son, on the other hand, he's very much like me. We're very kinesthetic, which means we're very feely, which is why you see me fidget, fidget, fidget. So those are my two children. One learns by listening, and one learns by making a load of noise and jumping all over the place when you want to kill him. When they were little, I had a coffee shop called the Magic Bean. It's what put food on our table. We would have had to have turned it into a takeaway. My business partner, Steph, she didn't have it. And honestly, if I'd have gone into that lockdown and we had that coffee shop and my only source of income to be able to put food on the table, I would have been there every day, running around, delivering sandwiches and hopefully coffees. Can't imagine people wanting coffees delivered to their front door, but we would have had to get creative. That would be to put food on the table. How would I then have coped with not being able to send my children to school? And I'm reading this post thinking, you take it. So what would I have done? And I started to go down this rabbit hole thinking, what would I have done? How would have I fed my children, educated my children? And then all these wonderful things, teaching them how to cook. By the way, I have taught both my children. Both of them can cook. They can read a book. They can do all the things that this fortunate person who wrote this post would use the time to teach her children. And I thought, if I'd have read something like that had my children been little, and I would have needed to educate it, it would have absolutely made me so angry. So for all you mums out there, honestly, I take my hat off for you, because I know you will cope. I've been further down that route. I know exactly what I would have done. I'd have had to take both my children to the coffee shop. Steph would have had to have brought her 3 children to the coffee shop. And somehow, between the 2 of us, we would have educated them, delivered everything. It would not have been easy. And that 13 weeks would have been 13 weeks of, oh, well, I doesn't even bear thinking about. And then there's the other story, because the NHS is very pushed. There's people not phoning up for diagnosis. There are people that are feeling ill. They don't want to bother the NHS. And then there's the people that have been on their own. Yes, there is the internet now. But I remember when I had that coffee shop, we used to have our regulars that lived on their own. They would come in for a coffee and a chat. We weren't their friends, but we liked them. They were our customers. All our staff knew them. And suddenly, all of this has been taken away. Someone in their 70s and their 80s, we had lots of elderly people that used to come in, and we'd take the time of day with them. All of that's gone. And there they are, sat in their 4 walls. They may be blessed enough to have a garden. And then you've got this, they've now introduced sort of support bubbles. And I personally really started going down this rabbit hole. And I wanted to hop on and say, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to go down that rabbit hole. But what's not okay? And it's not okay. You cannot stay in it. You have to pick yourself up and get yourself up. And on my blog, I wrote really simple things that you can do. So, firstly, it is okay to have a bad day, because I've said so. It's okay. But it's not okay to stay there. And now I'm going to start on the positive note. Yes, and the thing is, there is always something positive that we can look at in our life. Always, always, always. Sometimes it's harder to find than others, and there are times when you really don't want to. But the simplest way of forcing yourself to start being positive is smile. Come on, just smile. And as soon as you start to smile, you are releasing different endorphins. Then, to add to that, you can chuckle. So, actually, you can. And as soon as you start to chuckle, and then to add to it, you sit up, you smile. The other great thing is you can put your arms in the air and say, life is, am I allowed to swear on these? I don't know. Well, life is whatever you want it to be. It's a start. And then you get up. The other thing that during these times is routine. Routine's been taken away. It's so easy to get up and not get dressed. Particularly, if you're home working and you're on a laptop, you might have a team meeting, but you can sit there. They sit there with their blooming cameras off and their microphones off all day in your pyjamas. Get some routine. Get up in the morning, have a shower, get yourself dressed, do your hair, put your face on. Have some routine. And the other thing, even if you are living on your own and you are struggling, once a week, get dressed for dinner as if you're going out. Take the time. Do small things. And the other thing, which I've started to do, because I live here on my own, and I've started once a day, I clear out one little cupboard. Just one. And I feel like I've achieved something. I hope that I don't run out of cupboards. Well, actually, I do hope that I run out of cupboards, if I'm honest. But just setting yourself really small tasks can help to lift your mood. And yes, it's okay to have a bad day. No, it's not okay to stay there. So your mental health is so important, and summer is, dare I say, round the corner. We're only in January. However, If you look in the garden, if you're fortunate enough to have a garden, all the spring bulbs are starting to poke up. Spring is my most favourite season. The reason it's my most, well, my daughter says is because my birthday's then. Yeah, my birthday's end of March, which I thoroughly enjoy. But I also love watching all the spring, everything start coming to life. So keep positive. And it's okay to have the odd bad day. But it's much, much better to have the odd good day. So, I hope you enjoyed this little vlog, and I'm going to sign off with a smile, which is going to lead into a chuckle. Happy January!